And that is a single from Sinead O'Connor, and it is called Take Me to Church. I love it. And it's from an album. We're going to talk to Sinead about that right now. Good afternoon, Sinead. How are you?
I'm extraordinarily well, thank you.
You know we love you. You know I like you
do.
a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Tim does as well.
I love you immensely.
Yeah, he doesn't like you as much as I like you.
Thank you.
Singer-songwriter Sinead O'Connor, known around the world for her international smash hit Nothing Compares to You, and that was so long ago. The song, written by Prince, earned her a Grammy for Best Alternative Music Performance and Best Video Award at the MTV Video Music Awards. And how many albums have you done since the early days? Is it 10? Is it 11? Something like that?
This record will be my 10th.
Are you a great collaborator, or are you somebody who says, look, I want to do it this way, I want to do it that way, and that's how we're doing it?
Musically, I think I'm a very good collaborator. The first way I ever got into writing was when I was 14. Someone gave me a piece of music and said, write lyrics and melody. And it's always been my favourite way to work. Yeah. And I think it's real important not to actually explain what songs are about.
Really?
Because otherwise you spoil it for the audience. What we love about songs is we can imagine they're about anything we want, we can imagine. But if your favourite poet tells you exactly what was in his head when he writes a poem, you're ruined. Because now when you hear the poem, you're going to be in his head and not yours.
I suppose we want your songs to be about you.
What do they say in books? You know, all characters depicted here are fictional. My brother, who's a really brilliant writer, calls what he does faction. And I suppose to some extent one invents characters.
Yeah. Tell me what you wanted to be when you started out in the business, because several times you've broken off and said, well, I'm a priest now. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that.
I think you change and grow. You know, you sign up for certain reasons when you're a teenager, and then things change. And sometimes it can be a tricky job being a musician because you've signed up because you love music. But quite a lot of the time, you're dealing with the business end of things, which can really be quite dehumanising. What I am is I love to perform live. That's what gets me going. And even when I'm making albums, I'm thinking about live. I'm even planning what I'm going to wear. And
really?
So, yeah, I think the thing is to get excited about music. I need to pay my bills, obviously, but I don't really concern myself with what happens other than am I going to have fun.
Do you enjoy the making of the music more than you did at the start of your career?
I always did enjoy the making of the music. I didn't appreciate the fun perhaps I could have had playing live. I was really quite frightened of the whole thing. I felt it like a bit of an imposter too. I couldn't understand why anyone liked my records or anything. It was a bit like, what the hell am I doing here? And this is really weird.
Every performer in the world thinks that.
I couldn't even look up, to be fair. But then I don't know what happened. You can live a million lives in the same life to some extent. And I just fell in love with particular performers. Particularly I started falling in love with Chicago blues. It made me so realise that to get to make music live is just the most exciting thing on earth.
You're difficult to categorise. I mean, you are part folk musician as well, are you not?
No, I wouldn't say so. I think because I came from Ireland, I grew up through a certain folk tradition. I was inspired by people like Bob Dylan. But really what I am is a song lover. And I like to hear that I'm difficult to categorise. I like that. I don't want to be put
professionally and personally.
Well, you'd have to know me personally to know that, obviously. You know, people can project all manner of things onto people they don't actually have never had a cup of coffee with. They wouldn't know anything about them.
Good point.
One must be careful of that.
Tell us about the album, Sinead, because I think I like 8 Good Reasons, and I also like A Dense Water, Deeper Down. There's no theme, it's all different stuff, isn't it?
You're not very romantic, are you?
Well, apart from romance, then.
Okay.
There's a lot of love songs on here.
Well,
but we were talking off air because I said, crikey, this is a personal album. You said, well, it's not really. There's only one really personal record.
I call myself a Stanislavski method singer. What I do is I create characters most of the time. So the thing with this record is it's a record of love songs, but there are 3 or 4 different female characters within the record.
You've got a bit of a reputation for being single-minded and outspoken and all of that. Is that justified? Is that really you?
Well, you're saying single-minded and outspoken as if those are bad things.
No, I'm not saying they're a bad thing. I think they're a good thing.
Well, in the music business, there's a certain pressure on people not to quite be themselves. I think if you have breasts, the pressure not to be yourself is quite high, and I've upset the apple cart occasionally by not behaving like a good little girl.
Was there a lot of pressure on you at the start of your career to behave like that? And did you consciously react against that?
Only in terms of the haircut. But otherwise, no, I was really just being myself, and for some reason that was controversial. Hand on heart, I can say the only time I've consciously done anything in order to create anything was this album cover.
This is you in a kind of dressed like a pop star.
Yeah, I guess.
Why have you done that?
It was supposed to be 2 publicity shots, which I thought would be a great idea if I slapped on a bit of hair. Everybody would run the shots because I've never done the hair thing. But then the record company really liked the first shot, so they asked if it could be the cover.
Do you like it?
I actually do really like it, yeah. It wasn't what I had in mind. when I did the shots, but I do really like it. I'm thrilled with it.
I'm Not Bossy, I'm the Boss. The new album from Sinead O'Connor and the single Take Me to Church release on August the 11th. It's Sinead O'Connor, everybody. Thank you, Sinead. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's lively. That's a lively interview. We love it.